You're listening to The Marketing Trench, the official podcast where no real estate professional gets left behind in the pursuit of building a business they can be proud of. A podcast designed to help you build the foundation of a powerful real estate career. Join real estate experts Ricardo Bueno, Marketing Technology Director at West, Dustin Stevie, CEO of Lighthouse Escrow, and Scott Shang, partner at Bywise Mortgage and founder of Find My Way Home, as they bring you real-world strategies, marketing ideas, and solutions straight from the trench.
Okay. Welcome to episode 3. We're screwed up. You're about to be screwed up. Hope you have a good time. So today we're going to dig into the topic of databases. And the problem with the database is that you don't have one. So we're going to talk about why the heck that is. And the first thing I want to bring up here with the database question is, why are they so hard? Like, what makes a database so challenging to put together?
Because it's all over the place and people get frustrated.
Well, it's also it's an extra step. You know, you have to take information from one place and put it into another. It requires a certain amount of discipline, and sometimes, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners, you're jamming all the time. You're not always stopping to collect everything and organize.
We don't have the time.
We don't have the time is one way, but another way is I think databases are sold to us as being this big grand Goliath that's going to solve all your problems.
Right.
And when it really is as simple as some place to store a name, phone number, and email address of somebody, that's what it could be. But it's sold to us as this will do this, this will do that, and you put in all this information, and all this AI is attached, and
right,
all this kind of stuff, and it makes it
selling features.
They're selling you features when the reality is you just need someplace to keep all of your information in one place.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think about with Lighthouse, for example, we've used a couple databases. And the last one we used, I got it because it had all of these features, right? Mm-hmm. Download it, pay a bunch of money, and then come to find out that all the features they promised were just Zapier integrations. I was like, so you don't do anything but integrate with Zapier. Got it. But part of what sort of hamstrung me going into it was that I was thinking about all those features, and I'm like, I have to use them all. I have to have triggers for this and that. And what's the point of putting in name, email if I don't have triggers for them,
Yeah. That would be great if I could do that. Oh, trigger this automation. It'll automatically do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was too much. It was just too big of a hill to climb. Yeah. And of course, the other thing is that every time I've purchased a CRM, I'm interested to hear what you guys say about this, but whenever I purchase a CRM, the sales guys are like, oh, we got this team. They're going to onboard you. And then the onboarding team is like, here's an instruction manual. Have fun. And I'm like, I thought you were going to help. They're like, we did. We literally just PDF'd you the instruction manual.
Thank you.
Or here's our help desk.
Yeah, here's our help desk.
Here's our webinar.
Well, the challenge is there is a CRM as a product, and then there's a CRM how you would use it. So it's sold as a completed home, and then you purchase a lot.
Yes,
and they say, here's a lot and a roll of blueprints. Good luck with that. Right. And that's what it is it's that disconnect. And I think there's also the challenge that if you're working with a company and you're putting it into their system,
there's the fear of losing that.
There's the fear of losing that. And then maybe there's also, you have a comfort level because it's already over there.
Yeah. You're used to the thing you're used to.
Yeah.
I think one of the most effective pieces of advice that we've given to people is to start where you're at and put in the easiest things, right? Mm-hmm. So it's totally okay to take a CRM and for months at a time only input name and email address, first name, last name, email. Like if that's all you did with a CRM just to get going, that's fine. Just take that step. And then once you have that in, come back in and start backfilling phone numbers, physical addresses, birth dates.
See what if we back up a little bit though, I still think there's a huge sense of overwhelm with what CRM should I use, right? People don't get started simply because they get stuck at that step.
Yeah. That's a good point. So even picking the CRM has been hard.
And so I think we say this all the time. I know I do when I go on appointments. I'm product agnostic. it doesn't matter what CRM you use. Literally, I would start with stuff that's member benefit. Always start with stuff that's member benefit. If you're with First Team, if you're with EXP, you have access to KV Core, right? So you can use that. If you're a CRMLS member, or depending on what MLS you're a part of, different MLS across the country, but Lion Desk is a member benefit through CRMLS. I would literally not go down the rabbit hole of, I have one client who we've met with for 2-3 months now, and every time we meet again, it's the same conversation. He's stuck. Have you seen this CRM? Check out these features. Have you seen this CRM? Check out these features.
Yeah.
Stop chasing the features and literally just get into a system, any system, and start, like you said, piecemealing it together, baby steps at a time.
Yeah, yeah. What are some other things? Let's just assume for a second that you don't have a CRM that's a member benefit, and you are looking at the wide a range of CRMs that are out there. What are some criteria people can use to help filter out and determine what a good one is?
Well, I mean, there are definitely industry-specific solutions. So depending on your industry, do a research-best CRM for this. Ignore all the paid stuff in the top 10. And then I would look for, listen, there's a couple of things that are really important. Is data portability is a big one. How easy is it to get data in and how easy is it to get data out? And then look for the support groups, look for the support systems.
I think you and I have seen stuff where we're trying to set up an automation and we can't zap stuff in, right? We're trying to do things like that, and it just breaks. For me, it's I just want to be able to set automatic email drip campaigns and automatic text drip campaigns. And you and I have looked at CRM where we can do email, but we can't do text.
Right.
Yeah, text is a big one in for today's either entrepreneur or professional. The text is really huge, and as long as you're not abusing it, it's probably one of the more powerful communication methods that you're going to have. If they're expecting some follow up, they took action, you got their information, they're expecting some sort of follow up. Text is amazing, and if you can automate that, that's a huge plus. So I would probably say that the ability to text and email is a great one. That's
a good filter. Scott, you had mentioned just a second ago the community. What did you have in mind there? What does that look like?
Well, so a lot of these products that I would call them open products almost. So they really engage the community and the support community, and there's a lot of user driven
content and use cases.
Content, use cases, but also
plugins.
How you're using it, plugins, how they're building it out, how people are using it. Look for Facebook or LinkedIn groups. Salesforce is a huge one, but Salesforce is one of those Goliaths, and Fusionsoft is one of those Goliaths that you can make it do anything. I would say literally just look for something that fulfills your minimum viable goal of what are you just trying to do. And I agree with you 100%. I don't even know that you need to. Almost anybody can download their contacts from Google Contacts or your phone into a CSV file, upload those, and then spend time going through there and categorizing them. This is a friend, this is a client, this is somebody else. But yeah, having that in there is super, super valuable. And as we were talking about this, we were, not only do you need a database in order to manage your day-to-day business, but as any sort of succession plan, or if you ever, what do you plan on doing with your business when you retire? When you retire, you can't sell your reputation to somebody. You can sell them your database, your contacts, all your past clients. All of you can reach out to them and say, hey, this person's taken over for me. Mm-hmm. But there is no value in your reputation.
Right.
So at least when we're talking in the real estate space, because we're all kind of in the real estate space, that's a big challenge for real estate agents is you don't have great, retirement accounts and 401ks and things like that. So what do you do with your business? You don't want it to just die on the vine, and that's where a database is super valuable.
Yeah. So it's not just, let's dive into that. So a couple of things that make databases valuable. I guess I just sort of assumed that anyone listening to this episode thought databases were valuable, but maybe the reasons that we think they're valuable will be novel to some people. And I think, Scott, what you just mentioned is one of them. I don't think too many people think of their database as an asset that can be sold.
Yeah.
So that's one. What are a couple of other things that we've seen that makes databases valuable?
Well, it goes back to our past client episode. If you're not communicating and nurturing your past clients and staying communicating with your past clients, the only way to do that is to have them all in a centralized place.
Right.
Also, shifts in the market conditions, rates could go up, rates could go down, recession could come, home values could start sliding. Wouldn't you want to get a message out quickly to your database, to your clients that count on you to provide professional advice in this area of their life? Mm-hmm. If you want to communicate with those people quickly and efficiently, that's a database.
Yeah.
Right? So that's launching an email, that's launching a text.
Gives you someone to market to without having to feel like you're starting from scratch every time.
Right.
Well, and it's also a conversation log. So if you've had a relationship with this person for 10 years, you can have a history of all of the things that you've done for them. So you don't have to forget it, or so that you don't forget it, so that you can remember it. Because I mean, that's pretty important when we get really, really busy, especially when we're in a transactional based business like we are. You could deal with hundreds of people a year, multiple hundreds of people in a year, and you don't always remember the conversations you had with somebody before. And that's no, you don't. You don't remember where you left off. There's lots of times you talk to people, and
Ricardo can't remember what happened 10 minutes ago.
That's why I'm laughing.
What are you talking about? Wait, what are we doing again? Why are we in this room?
But that's right. It's outsourced memory.
It's outsourced memory. It's absolutely download your brain into that thing, and then you don't have to remember. That's kind of David Allen's getting things done. That's kind of his concept is deal with it when it's right in front of you, and then put it somewhere so that you know at this time I go over to this place and then I deal with everything.
Yeah, it's
just a way of compartmentalizing your tasks or whatever.
We know some teams that log everything in their CRM, and it's because they, round robin leads to their agents, and they want to have that conversation log, and it's important. It's important to the transaction, to the relationship, to moving them down the funnel.
I mean, I'm sure we've all been there where it's like we call in, we talk with somebody, like maybe a service center for our car or something, right? Or, we're working with an IT help desk or something. We call in, we tell them everything we want. We're really thorough about it. And then we talk to the next person and they don't have a clue. And it's like, seriously, I just gave you everything. Like, why do I have to do this again?
Yeah.
Right. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, well, I don't know, I'm on the fence about databases. Keep in mind that if you have a team and you are doing the round robin thing, you hate it when people don't know. So why would you make your clients feel that same frustration with you?
Right.
Well, and if you're running a team and you lose a team member, you don't want to lose everything that team member has worked on. So I know, that happens a lot where you have somebody who's working for you and they have all of these prospects or past clients assigned to them. And if they move, what happens? All of that work just goes away, or do you just shift it over to the next person?
Right.
And then the other thing is follow up, setting, give me a call in 6 months. Okay, cool. I'll set an alert, put it in your database. And then in 6 months, you can remember your conversation. Alert comes up in your database. You go in there, you look at your notes. It's just like you got off the phone with them. Yeah. You remember to follow up? Yeah.
You look like a champion at that point.
Look like a champ.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
Ricardo wants to look like a champion right now. But that's exactly right. I mean, it's those kinds of follow-ups too, which probably win more listings or more business than anything else, because it's like, all right, well, I told you to do something. 99% of people wouldn't remember to do it.
Yeah.
You did it. You've got your act together. I want to work with somebody who has their act. I mean, nobody that I know of has ever had this thought. That guy has their act together. I never want to work with them.
Yeah.
But they've had the opposite thought. That guy's a mess. I don't ever want to work with them.
How could he represent me if he's such a mess?
Yeah.
Well, in sales, follow-up is absolutely everything, especially in relationship-based sales, because it's not an impulse sale. It's you're establishing a relationship, and it's almost like you're exhibiting the fact that you can make a promise and keep it. Hey, I'm going to call you on this day, and then you call them on this day, and then it's a slow process of earning the trust.
Yeah.
So let's talk marketing automation. I don't think it's. Some people might say, well, it's inauthentic. I want to follow up with all of my prospects. I want to handle the follow-up. I don't think there's anything wrong with setting up a custom email and drip campaign that is personalized and it looks like you're having one-to-many conversations, but it's still very personalized.
Doing it in a cool way. I mean, so most of the marketing automation that comes standard with, you talk about member benefits, LionDesk is the big one. I think you actually created a course on that. But the automation that goes in there, all it really is just to catch people at the right place at the right time. Because as soon as they respond, it shuts off. What I don't like about automation that's unprofessional is that if they don't know that you already responded to it, right? So if somebody's just blasting stuff to you about something you already talked to them about, that's unprofessional. But having automation to do some of the heavy lifting for you and trying to catch people at a time when it's convenient for them, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because most of that just comes right back to you. If they respond, it comes up on your text on your phone. If they respond to an email, it comes in your email box, and then you just pick up the conversation.
Well, and if there's any inauthenticity, it's because what you wrote down in your email was gimmicky. But here's the thing. If you were going to sit down and do this one at a time, probably the thing you're going to write down in that email was gimmicky. In other words, it has nothing to do with the fact that you put it in a CRM versus Outlook. It has everything to do with the fact that you write like a gimmicky person would write.
Or you write a book that nobody's going to read.
Right.
I haven't heard from you in so long. I was wondering why you're not calling me back.
Is this Tinder?
I just want to let you know that I'm here anytime you need me. No, the automation is like, hey, is now a good time to talk? If they don't respond, it's probably not a good time to talk. But if they do, you pick up the conversation and you go.
Those kinds of texts especially are most effective at 2 a.m. because you get like amazing response.
Well, that's another part of automation that if it's not done right, then it looks hokey.
No, but you're right. I mean, that was cheesy and terrible. But
we're not going to let you go there.
No. But your point is exactly right. And it's like, people overthink it, right? They're like, oh, I got to write this novel. No, you don't. Just what would you text if you were texting a friend that you hadn't talked to in a while, and they come up and you just wanted to, say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's all it has to be. We've put together, 6-month campaigns, year campaigns, and these aren't like texts or emails that go out, 7 days a week, 3 or 4 times a day. I mean, this is stuff that just drips, here and there, once a month, maybe, twice a month occasionally. And it's just status check. It's real. Like you want it to be real. And if you don't, my opinion is, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think of this. If as you're writing the campaign, it doesn't feel real to you, like what your ideal self would do if you were checking in 6 months, probably you shouldn't write that in your campaign.
Well, and also is if you were more organized and if you had nothing else to do, is it something you would send out anyhow?
Yeah.
So if you thought it was a good idea to follow up with somebody 5 days after the last time or after they filled out a lead form or they came in or a phone call came in, if you thought keeping track of that is insane. Mm-hmm. So that's part of that, unloading that and putting that off. But you don't want to be like the 6-year-old in the back seat. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
So this is a re-engagement campaign that I got from you. So this is a re-engagement campaign that I told this agent, Ray Miramontes, he's with Keller Williams. I told him, send this to people that have been in your database for 6 months, but have gone cold, longer than 6 months. The email's super simple, super casual. It's not intrusive. It's not, hey, do you want to buy? Hey, do you want to buy? But here it is. It says, hey, Ricardo, we realize a lot of people are mostly just researching about buying or selling in the future. And a lot of our happiest clients started out that way. We wanted to reach out to you and let you know that we're here to answer any questions you may have. Whether you're looking to buy in 2 months or 2 years, we're okay with that. If you don't mind, email me back your story. Look forward to hearing from you. Talk soon. Thanks. So day 1, day 2, day 3, it's a 3-day campaign. By day 2, about 24, 48 hours later, he had 175 responses to the auto text strip that went out. And he said that that's nuts. He said that 33 people that he engaged and connect with bought and sold with somebody else.
There you go.
And I mean, he doesn't take that as a loss because he's tracking really well for the year. He doesn't take that as a loss, but if you look, like, there's money in your database.
30 or 40 real estate transactions? That is a loss. That is more than a lot of people do in their whole career.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, so now I'm running average commissions, 15,000 per an agent per deal. 10 is 150. So what, 30 would be 450? 450,000, definitely not a loss. I would probably, I mean, who cares?
Well, listen, you're not going to win them all, so you can't necessarily say that. But I guarantee you, first of all, he sounds like somebody who's already pretty organized.
Right.
He already has a database that he could load the script in. You just gave him a strategy, and the strategy was send this super soft email and personalized email out to anybody who's older than 6 months. That's a database strategy. You can't do that. If you walked up to somebody and said, hey, I want you to go back and find everybody that you've talked to more than 6 months ago.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start going through my emails and find all of the emails that I have. You're not going to be able to do it. And the fact that he found that, he's going to plug that hole now.
Yep.
That's a strategy that he's going to implement in his business. It's automation that's tied into his CRM.
Yep.
And it was one little tweak, and now that won't happen again.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I joke about him losing 450, but there was $450,000 in business.
Yeah.
Chilling out there.
Even if you got 10% of those, that's significant.
Yep.
You only got 2 or 3 of them. Maybe somebody was going to do business with somebody else anyhow. But what the interesting part about that is the people responded and told him that.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to the database, like you said, Scott. He couldn't have done it if he was thumbing through his phone, looking through his email.
Well, and that was a cool email. And I'm actually not sure where that email came from. I don't think that was one that I wrote. Yeah. But I may have tweaked it or got it from somewhere. But the feel of that email was super cool, right? It was something that was just like, hey, I get it. I mean, I can tell you on our automation, one of the automation that gets and these are cold leads that are coming off of like Facebook ads. And we drip on them probably 17 times in 2 weeks, couple of emails, couple of texts. The one that gets the most response is one that says, hey, I'm going to take you're not responding as I'm not ready yet. I totally get it. I'm sure you're super busy. I just want to let you know I'm here if you ever need anything. That email gets more responses than almost anything else. And people are busy. And you've got to understand, I mean, it's not that they don't like you. It's just that, and especially if you're sending those emails out on a regularly scheduled basis, it really is just, listen, in today's day and age, the consumer drives the sale at all times. And we as consumers want to do things on our terms in our time. Mm-hmm. Don't call me and tell me about your product. If I'm interested in your product, I'm probably going to Google it and I'm going to do my research first, and then I'll talk to you about how I get involved in it. So think about that shift in how we buy and sell. So you're not selling on those emails. You're just like, hey, I knew you were interested. Just in case you still are, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah.
And that messaging is important.
Yeah. So let's take a long view perspective on the database for a second. And what I tell people when I sit down and talk with them about strategy is, this is chapter 1. You can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 10, right? But let's think about what chapter 10 might look like. So chapter 1 is first name, last name, email. Maybe chapter 2 or 3 is birthday. Chapter 10 can be then you're sending out the birthday cards on the regular, or you're like, hey, your kid's now in high school, your kid's off to college. Congratulations. That's a big deal. By the way, is there anything I can do to help your kid find a place to live near school, right? Whatever it is, you start tracking that. That's a sort of chapter 10 move. In order to have a chapter 10, you have to have that chapter 1. And so I think, a couple of things we're talking about here is, one, giving yourself that permission to use the product in the most minimum viable way. But the other thing is, we've talked about these drip campaigns and authenticity and all that sort of thing. I think all of that needs to come down to determining who you are as a person and what you actually care about. So as you're feature shopping, for example, and you're looking to your chapter 10, I think you need to be realistic about the kind of person you are. Like if you don't wish people a happy birthday in real life, why do you think you're going to do it through your database? You know what I mean? So have you guys, when you've set up your own databases or help people set up their own databases, have you ever had to have those conversations with people where they're just like, they're like dream casting or vision casting this database that's going to like solve all of their problems? You know what I'm saying? As in like, I want to be the kind of person who does blah, 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 and I'm going to make a machine do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that never works.
That's a really, really good point that your database should do what you normally would do. It's just taking stuff off your plate so you can focus on other things. So it augments what you are already doing.
Your process.
Yeah. It augments what you do. It amplifies how you can do it. It makes it more efficient, but it should still be you.
Yeah.
It should still be your authentic you. And on birthdays, now that with the invention of Facebook, most people dread birthdays because you're like, oh my God, all these people are wishing me happy birthday because it's so easy. And you got to go in there and you got to thank people and all this kind of stuff. So, if you're the kind of person that sends a handwritten birthday card and that's super, super powerful, then you put that in your CRM. Don't forget to send somebody a handwritten birthday card.
See, if I were to set up CRM and I was going to be like, write this handwritten birthday card, that would never happen because I'm not that guy. But the guy I am is I'm the guy who sends a stupid GIF to people on their birthday, right? Like some sort of animated GIF,
That's you.
Yeah. I'm the guy that sends you the like My Little Pony happy birthday animated GIF. That one's always a winner, and you can use, but like texting, that's the bottom line, right? So you can use a CRM to send a happy birthday text.
Yeah.
And that actually feels way more personal. Once a year, send this text. Hey, happy birthday. Hope you're doing well. Look forward to connecting with you soon.
There's my Little Pony GIF again.
I got this great one of Donald Trump dancing. It's really good.
I can't wait. My birthday's coming up. I
Can't wait.
I'm so excited now.
Those animated. I have one friend. I've been sending this. So we started this tradition years ago where we started with one GIF and then we didn't stop all day. So I probably hit him with 30 GIFs over the course of a day. I got it down where I was hitting him every hour. I was hitting him with a GIF every single hour while traveling from Washington, D.C. to California. I was moving back. It was like driving and on the nose. My alarm would go off. I'd be like, hold on, honey, I got to pull over. Fire that GIF off. That's the best. You can't. That's going to get you listings.
Everybody should adopt that. I think a CRM is going to come out tomorrow that's all it does.
Birthday gift CRM.
Birthday gift CRM. Oh my God.
Oh, that's amazing. So, okay, we're coming up at time, or if we're not, we should be because everyone's dying. So the problem of databases, you don't have one. The reason you don't have one is you're probably overthinking it. We actually had a meeting just earlier today. Ricardo and I just got out of a meeting with an agent, and they were like, we got all these databases and this and that. And the agent was just like spinning dishes off, he's like spinning all these plates. And it's like, no, okay, listen, simple. First name, last name, email. Just get it in there.
And I get it. It's so much harder than it sounds. It sounds so easy to do, but it's one of those things that's vitally important.
Yeah.
Got to just take the time and do
it. I think if you're pulling the information from your phone, I think you can export a spreadsheet if you go to contacts.google.com if you're using Google for your contacts. I don't know about Apple. Ricardo, there's an app. What was the app?
First Impressions, I think. It's first.io is the website that'll open up in the App Store or Android store. The app is actually kind of cool. I've used it on my phone with my contacts as a demo account. What it does is it connects to your phone, imports all of your contacts, and then appends addresses for everybody that's in your contact records. It does the same for your email. So you log into your email, it takes all of that database, and it appends addresses. And then it gives you a nice, pretty little CSV file that you can download and upload wherever you want to take it.
I mean, that's powerful.
That's super powerful.
And it's also not a bad excuse to call through that database once, update it, make sure you're touching bases with everybody, and just launch that. Prepare them for I'm going to be reaching out every once in a while.
Yeah. So I mean, the app is kind of cool. Every day or so, it'll send me alert. Like the alert that I got yesterday was, it's National CMA Day. Just kidding. But seriously, you should send a CMA to someone with an increasing home value this week.
The app sent you that?
The app sent me that.
So maybe that's a feature they could have done without.
Yeah. If you would look at that, you're like, that's dumb.
That's true. You just interrupted me for that.
Did you do it?
No.
Yeah, that's dumb.
How many CMAs did you fire off, Tile Boy?
Shut up.
CMA for Title Boy.
No, but really for people that, and I think we missed this, but for people that are just getting started or brand new to the business, they don't have a database. There's places where you can buy a database. You can run Facebook ads to build a database of buyers.
Yeah.
To generate a database.
Absolutely. Consumer Direct is a great way to build database, either doing Facebook ads. And if most people getting in the business do not have a sphere of influence. I mean, that's the very first thing all agents are taught is, who's your sphere? Who do you know? Who's your relatives, your people that you know, people you worked with before? Put them all together. That's a database. And
it doesn't have to be big either.
No.
My sphere is pretty small. It's like a handful of people and Ricardo's mom.
I wonder if that's going to make it to the final cut. I sure hope it does. I sure hope it does. My God. That was awesome. So we're going to end this exactly the way we started it looks like. So,
but you were saying.
And listen, if you're not sure what to do, just start putting them into an Excel spreadsheet, because any database will accept an Excel spreadsheet. Yep. So while you're deciding which way to do it, Google Docs, Google Sheets is free. Yeah. You should have some sort of spreadsheet on your phone or on your computer. Don't leave it there. Get it into a database, but at least start organizing your contacts.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose Ricardo's mom's number.
Both of them. The burner phone too. And then after
the Go phone.
And then after you've done that, right, incrementally add the information you care about. Again, focused on who you are as a person and what you're actually going to make use of. Don't let all the bells and whistles of the CRMs distract you from being the person that you are authentically, because frankly, you're just not going to get around to the bells and whistles that don't really tie into who you are. And then Scott had also mentioned the community stuff. And I think that's important, because if there's an active community, it probably means the CRM is powerful and worth investing in, because, you got a bunch of nerds throwing daggers at each other about it, or a bunch of nerds solving problems, creating plugins. Like that's what you want.
Use cases.
Yeah. And, that's so important, because you customer service, these CRM, they're terrible normally. And people who are in forums are going to be a lot more detailed. They're going to have niche problems that you have, and they're going to solve them for you. And if you download a CRM that doesn't have that robust community, you're going to find yourself alone, and that's not a good place to be with a CRM. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to outsource the setup. If you know exactly what you want your CRM to look like, pay somebody to do it. Get somebody in there to just set it up for you. Or if you're in the real estate space, like we said, Ricardo has a course on Lion Desk. A lot of these, that's because they have a big community, and the community was like, we need some sort of training. So you stepped up, users stepped up and delivered that product. So,
paying someone's really, I've done this. I'll just, we're in the trench, for being honest, we got dirt on ourselves here. Like I've spent a bunch of money on CRMs, and then I told myself I'm going to set it up, because I don't want to pay some developer another $1,500, $2,000 to set it up. And then it never got set up, and all of that money went out the window. Like going back to that one CRM where it was basically just, you should have gotten Zapier. Right. I mean, this one was called ProsperWorks, and then it was bought out by a company called Copper. I call it crapper in my head, but that's not the point. The point is
the cease and desist will arrive shortly.
Yeah. Terrible. You guys lie on your, anyway. The point is if I had paid somebody, I probably would have had a lot more success, and I probably still have the CRM today. But instead I kept telling myself, I'm going to do it. And it's like, it's so short-sighted, right? Because again, now looking, the chapter 10 might be, I want to exit. I've built up these relationships over time, and I want to have something that's an asset that I can sell. To your point, Scott, that's what a CRM could be.
I've had the exact same experience. I use Infusionsoft, and Infusionsoft is one of those things that can do absolutely anything. We paid people a bunch of money a couple of times to set it up, and that kind of taught me how to set it up. So when there's tweaks in the future, I already saw what somebody did, so I already kind of know how to do it. And most people, they'll do it with you. Right. So they'll teach you how to do it. Hey, I wanted to do this. Okay. They'll teach you how to do it so you can do it moving forward. But yeah, don't not do it because you don't know how. Get somebody in there, get it set up, and get it going.
Yeah. Do it right.
That's
do
right.
It right.
And just do it.
Yeah.
Do it at all.
And that's the bottom line. I mean, honestly, that's the solution to the problem of CRMs. You don't have one, just get one.
Yep.
Yeah, and don't overthink it. If you have thoughts about CRMs that you would like to hear us talk about more, or if you have questions that you feel like we didn't answer, with regards to building databases, check out the show notes. We'll tell you where you can go to engage with the community. This is a conversation we're having with you all. This isn't just the three of us and Ricardo's mom in spirit. This is us wanting to collaborate with you. So check out the show notes. We'll tell you where to do that. And that's been it. Till next time.